The $1 trillion blind spot. Why we're all losing. When Black women can't win, welcome to Soft Girl Era, the sacred space where strong Black women unlearn survival, rediscover softness, and reclaim the joy, rest, and freedom they deserve. I'm your host, LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce, like sweet softness whispered in French, and I'm your guide from burnout to boundaries, from doing to being, from strong to soft, and loving every second of it. Today, I had the profound privilege of sitting down with Jessica Swan, a visionary who isn't just talking about economic empowerment, she's actively dismantling the architecture of inequality that has kept brilliant, capable, determined Black women from accessing the resources they've earned, the capital they deserve, and the recognition they've been denied for far too long. Jessica's work is a clarion call that echoes through boardrooms, investment firms, and policy chambers everywhere, reminding us that when we invest in Black women, we're not doing charity. We're investing in a future that is more equitable, more prosperous, more innovative, and more just for absolutely everyone. What Jessica shared with me, what she revealed through her research, her passion, and her unwavering commitment to truth is something that will challenge everything you thought you knew about entrepreneurship, funding, merit, and who actually gets to build wealth in this country. So let's dive in, let's go deep, let's get uncomfortable because comfort is exactly what's been costing us trillions. Here's the story we've all been sold: work hard enough, hustle long enough, bootstrap your way through the impossible, sacrifice everything, and eventually, the doors will open. Eventually, the funding will come. Eventually, you'll earn your seat at the table. That's the mythology of the American dream. That's the promise of entrepreneurship. That's what we've been told success looks like. But here's the truth Jessica Swan brought to light, and it's a truth that should shake every single one of us to our core. Black women are starting businesses at record rates. They are launching companies, creating jobs, solving problems, building brands, and transforming their communities. They are doing the work. They are showing up. They are proving their capability over and over and over and over again. And yet, they are receiving just 0.2% of available venture capital in Canada. 0.2%. Let that sink in for a moment. Let that number sit heavy on your chest because it should. This isn't just a funding gap. This isn't just an unfortunate statistic. This is an economic catastrophe hiding in plain sight, and we are all complicit in allowing it to continue. Because when we fail to invest in Black women entrepreneurs, we're not just failing them, we're failing ourselves. We're failing our communities. We're failing our economy. We're leaving trillions of dollars on the table. Jessica made it devastatingly clear. If Black women owned businesses reached revenue parity with other groups, the US economy alone could gain up to $1.8 trillion annually. Trillion with a capital T. That's not a typo. That's not an exaggeration. That's cold, hard, undeniable economic reality. Just, so the question isn't whether Black women can build successful businesses. They already are. The question that should haunt every investor, every policymaker, every person with influence is this: why are we still acting like their ambition, their talent, their vision, their proven track record is somehow less worthy of investment than anyone else's? Let me tell you about Sheena Russell. Sheena is the founder of Made with Local, a snack food company in Canada that prioritizes local ingredients, community impact, and social responsibility. Sheena didn't start with a trust fund. She didn't have a network of venture capitalists on speed dial. She didn't have access to the rooms where deals get made, where checks get written, where futures get funded. What she had was a passion for healthy food, a deep commitment to her community, and a vision for something better, something meaningful, something that mattered. But Sheena faced what so many Black women entrepreneurs first face: limited access to professional networks, limited access to external funding. And on top of all of that, the very real, very exhausting challenge of balancing childcare responsibilities while trying to build a business that could change lives. So, what did Sheena do? She self funded. She scraped together every dollar she could find. She leveraged local community partnerships. She built her business one relationship, one product, one sale, one impossibly hard won victory at a time. And today, Made with Local has national distribution. Sheena has created jobs. She's supporting local farmers. She's building economic opportunity in her community. She's inspiring other Black women founders to believe that maybe, just maybe, it's possible for them too. But here's what we need to sit with. Here's what should make us deeply uncomfortable. Sheena shouldn't have had to do it alone. Her success is extraordinary, yes. Her determination is remarkable, absolutely. But it came at an extraordinary cost, a cost that her white counterparts, her male counterparts, rarely have to pay. And the system that forced her to self fund, to navigate barriers that others never even see, to work twice as hard for half the recognition, that system is fundamentally broken. And we keep pretending it's not. Jessica Swan's work highlights this reality over and over and over again. Through the Founders Report, which surveyed 1,500 Black women founders across Canada, we learned that 63% of these women had to self fund up to $100,000. 63%, more than half. And 43% received no external funding at all? None. Zero. Not a single dollar from investors who claim to be looking for the next big thing, who claim to fund innovation, who claim to support entrepreneurship. These women are building scalable, profitable, impactful businesses. And they're doing it without the safety net, without the mentorship, without the capital, without the second chances and the soft landings that their white and male counterparts often take completely for granted. And let's talk about what that means in real human terms. It means delaying growth because you can't afford to hire help. It means working twice as hard, twice as long for half the recognition and a fraction of the reward. It means choosing between paying for childcare and paying for business development. It means watching opportunities slip away, watching doors close, watching your dreams get deferred, not because you weren't good enough, not because your idea wasn't strong enough, but because the system wasn't designed with you in mind, because the system was designed to keep you out. But here's where the story shifts. Here's where hope enters the room, because Jessica Swan and the work she's doing isn't just about documenting the problem. It's not just about naming the injustice, it's about demanding solutions. It's about showing us with data and stories and undeniable truth that the barriers Black women face aren't inevitable. They're not natural. They're not the result of some cosmic unfairness. They're the result of choices, human choices, choices made by investors who overlook Black women founders because they don't fit the profile, choices made by accelerators that don't offer flexible programming for mothers, choices made by policymakers who fail to center Black women in economic discussions, who treat their struggles as niche issues instead of central economic imperatives. And if those choices created the problem, then different choices can solve it. Better choices, braver choices, more equitable choices. Let me tell you about the Highland Project. This is a US based initiative supporting Black women leaders through economic empowerment, leadership development, and advocacy. The Highland Project was founded in direct response to the worsening economic conditions Black women faced post pandemic. Because while the world was talking about recovery, while politicians were celebrating economic rebounds, Black women were facing high unemployment rates, limited access to middle class stability, and systemic discrimination in both federal and private sectors. So, what did the Highland Project do? They didn't wait for permission. They didn't wait for someone else to solve the problem. They provided leadership development programs. They offered financial literacy training. They advocated loudly, persistently, unapologetically for policy changes that would center Black women in economic conversations, that would treat their economic health as a barometer for the health of the entire economy. And the impact: more Black women accessing upward mobility, fewer Black women delaying major financial decisions during economic downturns, broader awareness, finally, of the critical role Black women play in the economy and the urgent, undeniable need for inclusive policies that actually work. This is what's possible when we stop treating Black women's economic challenges as niche issues, as side conversations, as problems that only matter to them. This is what's possible when we start recognizing that their success is our success, that their prosperity lifts all of us, that their leadership brings perspectives and solutions that have been missing from the table for far, far too long. Because here's the thing: here's the truth that should be obvious, but somehow still needs to be said. When Black women thrive, everyone benefits. When Black women have access to capital, they create jobs. When Black women build businesses, they strengthen communities. When Black women lead, they bring innovation, resilience, creativity, and vision that our economy desperately needs. But we have to be willing to change the systems that have kept them out. We have to be willing to dismantle the structures that were built to exclude them. We have to be willing to do the uncomfortable work of examining our own biases, our own complicity, our own role in perpetuating inequality. Jessica Swan's insights remind us that this isn't just about fairness, though fairness absolutely matters. This isn't just about representation, though representation absolutely matters. This is about unlocking economic potential that has been suppressed, ignored, undervalued, and actively denied for generations. And the cost of that suppression? It's staggering. It's measured in lost innovation, lost jobs, lost revenue, lost opportunities for entire communities to build wealth, to build stability, to build futures. So, what do we do? How do we move from awareness to action? How do we close this gap? How do we stop talking and start changing? First, we have to acknowledge that the problem isn't Black women. The problem has never been Black women. Black women are not lacking in ambition, capability, vision, or work ethic. They are lacking access to networks, access to capital, access to the rooms where decisions are made, access to the systems that were designed to keep them out. Second, we have to demand that investors, accelerators, policymakers, and institutions do better. We need flexible programming that accommodates the realities of Black women's lives, especially those balancing entrepreneurship with family responsibilities. We need targeted investment that recognizes the unique challenges Black women face and the extraordinary value they bring. We need mentorship programs that connect Black women founders with the resources, the relationships, and the opportunities they need to scale. We need accountability. We need transparency. We need action. And third, we have to use our influence. Whether you're an investor, a policymaker, an entrepreneur, or an ally, you have a role to play in closing this gap. You can choose to invest in Black women owned businesses. You can choose to advocate for policies that support economic equity. You can choose to amplify Black women's voices, to create space for their leadership, to open doors instead of guarding them. You can choose to be part of the solution instead of part of the problem. Because here's the truth: the opportunity gap for Black women founders isn't just their problem, it's our problem. It's everyone's problem. And closing it isn't just their responsibility, it's ours, all of ours. Jessica Swan's work is a call to action. It's a reminder that we have the data, we have the stories, we have the proof that investing in Black women is not just the right thing to do morally, It's the smart thing to do economically. And yet we're still waiting. We're still watching Black women entrepreneurs fight for scraps while others feast. We're still pretending that the system is fair when the numbers scream otherwise. How much longer are we going to wait? How many more Sheenas have to self fund their dreams? How many more brilliant ideas have to go unrealized because the system refused to see their worth? How many more trillions are we willing to leave on the table? The answer has to be no more, not one more, not one more day, not one more dollar, not one more brilliant Black woman told that her vision isn't worth the investment because the cost is too high, the loss is too great, and the potential, the staggering, world changing potential is too powerful to ignore. So here's my question for you. Here's the question that should follow you out of this room, that should keep you up at night, that should change how you show up tomorrow. How will you use your influence, whether as an investor, policymaker, entrepreneur, or ally, to help close the opportunity gap for Black women founders and unlock their full economic potential? What will you do differently? What choice will you make that you didn't make yesterday? What door will you open that's been closed for too long? Because the future Jessica Swan is fighting for, the future where Black women have equal access to capital, equal access to opportunity, equal access to the resources they need to build and scale and thrive and lead, that future is possible. It's within reach, but only if we choose it, only if we demand it, only if we act, only if we stop waiting for someone else to fix what we have the power to change right now. The question isn't whether Black women deserve investment. They've already proven they do. The question is whether we have the courage to invest in them, whether we have the integrity to match their ambition with equal opportunity, whether we're willing to build an economy that works for everyone, not just the privileged few. The clock is ticking, the cost is mounting, and the world is watching. What will you choose?